All right. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo! What is going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network live show. This is the post-game reaction live show. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and being a part of this. I appreciate it. Feel free to check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. There's a link to the Hog Talk podcast if you guys want to go check out the latest episodes. We're going to have a new episode for you on Monday. The guys are going to record tomorrow, and I think that's going to be Kyle Sutherland, Porter Hayes, and none other than Cabo himself should be on the Monday show. Friday, of course, I'm the host on Friday. Kyle and I usually hold that down. Also, there's a Patreon link if you guys want to go in and support the channel. You can do that. You can do that there. It's much appreciated. If you don't want to do a monthly thing, it's a minimum of $4 a month. You can check out the PayPal at one time, like a tip jar. Just think of it like a tip jar. Okay. A lot to kind of look at here. Started off pretty fun, right? I think we all can agree that Arkansas looked like things have changed. And I'm not saying that they haven't, but it certainly looked that way. It certainly looked like Arkansas had things figured out. Offensively, you know, you had that touchdown to Burks, right? It was beautiful. We thought, okay, they're going to get in rhythm and we're going to be fine. So what exactly happened? I mean, Georgia obviously made adjustments, but I never felt like the offense was in rhythm. Not only that, when you start from behind your 15, behind your 20, really behind your 15, like five times in the first half. I think you were behind the 10 at least 2 or 3 times, and you were behind the 5 once or twice. It had to be at least twice. Georgia's special teams was dominant. Let me read your chat really quick. Hello, Ty. Good being back. What's up, Castle Lord? Long time no see. Fishman, typical LOL, and look how good Mississippi State is. They're going to kick our ass too. Laugh out loud. Mike Leach is who the Razorbacks should have hired. John R. Shelton says, I knew passing on Leach was going to bite us in the ass. KJ will start soon. TTV, oh boy, Judd, I ain't feeling good about Mississippi State. I don't even know what the final score was. I know they beat them, and I know their quarterback had 600 yards through the air. Wow. Gavin says, well, that happened. Well, I'm not mad, but we have a lot to work on. Truck MD says, I have a headache after that second half. Man. It looked, and don't come at me on this. Don't say, Ty, you're just a negative Nancy. And I promise this isn't a slap or a diss towards this coaching staff. But in all honesty, this looked like more of the same. Now, hold on. Pump your brakes before you send me the angry comment. A lot of that had to do with the fact that you were playing the best defense in college football. There's no doubt about that. It's hard to get in rhythm when you're playing a front seven that's that damn good. I think their secondary is going to have some questions. I don't know that Georgia's a top 5 football team. What did I tell you? My prediction was 35-10, by the way. I also said, Mathis, if you can get pressure on him, he's going to get rattled. Guess what? They got pressure on him up until the point Dorian Gerald exited the game. He looked like a deer in headlights. Arkansas was able to maintain a consistent pass rush. Eventually, Kirby Smart said, nope, enough is enough. They put in the next guy. He eventually caught on fire. He got into some sort of rhythm, and the rest is history. Arkansas's front seven does look better. I think that was the most pressure I have seen Arkansas put on a quarterback, even though they didn't pile up sacks. That was the most pressure I've seen them put on a quarterback in quite some time. Their front seven, other than a depth issue, which they still have, by the way, and it showed its head in the second half. You guys wonder what happened on defense. Guys, they were gassed. You've got a talent issue and a depth issue. And it reared its ugly head in the second half. In Georgia, you let a fourth-string quarterback come in and just whoop your ass. And look, even though that fourth string was – I don't know much about that kid, if I'm being honest. I don't know how highly recruited he was out of high school. I had not seen him in any of the notes that I was reading. It was all about, obviously it was mostly about Mathis. But they turned Mathis inside out, man. I mean, they when he was their quarterback, up until the point when they made the switch, I started to think, oh crap, I don't know, this isn't good for Arkansas, because I wanted them to stick with Mathis. I did. Mathis is not a good quarterback. Look, I said it a second ago, depth, talent, and Arkansas's defense made him look bad. I don't think he's their future. The other guy is obviously probably going to be their guy from here on out. They obviously got in some kind of rhythm, and the rest is history. The first half of football was some of the best defensive football we have seen at Arkansas in a while. So I do think there was improvement. It did look, though, especially in the second half, more of the same. Depth and talent is just a problem on defense, and until they can bring in more bodies, and not just bodies, quality bodies, guys that aren't just guys that fill the spot, guys that contribute on a higher level. Until you get those guys in, I think this is what you're going to see a lot of. Look, Georgia, I don't think Georgia's going to be very good on offense this year. I just don't. I was not impressed with Georgia on offense. I know we've had some of their fans come in here the last couple of days. I've had some of them comment on my most recent video that I uploaded on Friday. They really think they're an undefeated kind of team. I don't think so. I think Georgia probably, we'll have to wait and see. They do have a rough schedule. I loved how they just wanted to talk about that the whole game. Let's talk about how hard their schedule is. Let's forget about Arkansas's. Arkansas's is the toughest in college football freaking history. Are you kidding me? And they got to play Mississippi State next week? I think Georgia, to me, they look like a
7-3. I don't know, maybe 8-2, just because I'm not so sure about the rest of the East. Kentucky, look, the East is starting to rear their ugly heads a little bit here, right? The rest of that side of that conference is starting to look a little bit better. Tennessee's playing right now, right? Tennessee and South Carolina, but I'm anxious to see how that one ends. I just think it was more the same on offense. I thought, in all honesty, if I'm being completely 100% legitimate with you, I didn't see a difference on offense. Just a different guy throwing the ball. I hope that was more because of the Georgia factor than it was anything. Felipe Franks staring down targets. This is exactly what we talked about in the Hog Talk. Kyle Sutherland was very critical of Felipe. And I think we kind of see where some of that's coming from. If you watch some of his videos from a year ago, if you watch some of the content that's out there, there's moments where Felipe Franks just looks bad. And that was definitely today. I think we mostly got bad Felipe Franks. Offensive line could not get any push up front. Rakeem Boyd with virtually a very similar offensive line in terms of personnel could still manage to break outside, get 5-6 yards a carry. I mean, the guy averaged, 5.5, 6 yards a carry last year. Even in SEC play, the guy averaged around 5.5. Georgia, it was very clear. They wanted to shut Rakeem Boyd down, and they did that. They were successful in doing that. I mean, he wasn't involved, or they took him so far out of the picture that it blanked Arkansas's offense. Hammond's, oh my gosh. Maybe there is a reason after all other staffs had a hard time figuring out where to put him on the offense. I just don't know. How do you – that double reverse behind the 15, what was it, the 12-yard line, just had me scratching my head, guys. The play calling, the mistakes. Now, Georgia they had more mistakes. Georgia had so many mistakes. Was there a single flag thrown in the second half? It feels like there might have been two. Compared to the first half, that was obviously a big adjustment for them. Yes, they got away with a big PI. I think it was on third when Treylon Burks was going down the sidelines and there was a little bit of contact. Was it Burks or Woods? I can't remember. But there's a lot to fix. This is why I say it feels like more of the same. And until they get personnel figured out, until they there's also Corona. I mean, there's no doubt there were players. Arkansas was missing some guys. I still don't have a number. I don't have enough names. I know Soley wasn't on the field, but I think that was an injury issue because supposedly he was on the sidelines. I'm not entirely sure. Lance says, I agree, Ty. Let's see. Shahid Mustafa says the defense prepared for a scrambling quarterback and not the pocket quarterback. I feel like Kirby pump fake does. Ty, you look stoned, brother. I'm tired. I am exhausted. We had 2 teachers meetings this morning, like right out the gate as soon as we woke up. My daughter's T-ball game here in Springdale. Run to Walmart with the kids. That's going to, and then the game. I'm just kind of worn out. I promise I haven't smoked a doober. Pittman has some ass chewing to do, says YouTuber Trump. Lorenzo Applewhite says, where'd it go? Arkansas O-line need to get better. There's so many questions up front. They could not get pushed. And again, guys, we have to factor in it's Georgia. This is the best front 7 you're probably going to play all year. It's the best front 7. It's the best defense you're going to see all year. You're not going to see that again. Are you kidding me? Alabama's not that good. I mean, they haven't been. This year could be different. It is Bama after all. But you saw what happened to LSU today. Good Lord. Are there winnable games left on the schedule? I'm sticking with my 2-8. I'm sticking with it. It didn't go up, didn't go down. It's really about what I expected. I mean, it really is. I did not expect them to stick Georgia in the first half like they did, but again, they made the adjustment at quarterback, and that changed. Makes you wonder, had they gone with this guy, what would that score have been? I think it would have been far worse. I think they would have definitely, Arkansas wouldn't have covered that spread. So it just makes you wonder, what does the rest of the year look like? Can they get someone to stand out on defense? Look, Monteric Brown, I still think, had a good game. Slusher, freshman, came in and had a fumble recovery. Jalen Catalon forced that fumble and had a few tackles. I don't have those numbers yet in front of me. Let's go over the numbers really fast. I know this is going to be a little depressing. Georgia, 37-10. Again, I guess 35-10. People on Facebook were calling us so-called experts. Well, guess what? I was pretty damn close. I'm no expert, though. Stetson Bennett is the guy that came in and just kind of did whatever he wanted. 20 of 29, 211 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. He averaged just over 7 yards per completion. Dwan Mathis was 8 of 17 for 55 yards and a pick. Zamir White, once the passing game started to catch hold, Zamir White started to look a lot better. I'm going to say the run defense is the biggest part of the improvement of everything for me. Guys, we gave up, 195, 200 yards a game? And here's Georgia with this big-time 5 and 4 stars all over the field on the offensive line. Hell, their third-string guy is probably a 5-star that had offers out the butt. And they're going to be better in terms of star power on their personnel up front than Arkansas could even come close to. And they held these guys to 2.9 yards per carry. Zamir White did have 5.5, but he got most of that on one run. He had a 20-yard run. 13 carries for 71 yards. James Cook, 7 for 26. Stetson Bennett showed off his wheels a little bit. He had an 11-yard rush, but he ended up with 5 for 20. Dwayne Mathis, who's kind of this, they compare him to Felipe out of high school. Not super mobile, but a guy that can get out of the pocket and do some things. I mean, he is an athlete. He had 10 carries for 4 yards. He was sacked. Again, I don't have all the defensive numbers up. ESPN doesn't put all that stuff out yet. But receiving, George Pickens, the guy got held to 4 catches for 47 yards. To me, Pickens, I'm not calling him the next A.J. Green at Georgia, but he is a damn good wideout. They held him to 4 grabs for 47 yards. He did have a touchdown. Carice Jackson, 6 catches, 62 yards, and then Demetrius Robinson, 4 for 29. Their special teams, at the end of the day, Arkansas, that was something we thought would be a strength. It was not. They just dominated on special teams. Their punting was ridiculous. Camarda had 7 punts for 349 yards. That's an average of 50, right at 50 yards a punt. He had 5 punts that landed inside the 20. His longest punt of the day went for 63 yards. Camarda took Arkansas's offense. They were already struggling. He took them completely. They were 0 threat. Arkansas's offense was not really a threat. Treylon Burks had a moment. That was great. But they took Arkansas out, and their special teams helped. Their special teams was kind of the beginning. So, Felipe Franks, 19 of 36, 200 yards through the air exactly. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That's not atrocious. It's just not good. it's not going to win games. That kind of performance, especially the 2 interceptions part, is not going to win games, obviously. KJ came in 1 for 2 for 3 yards. Treylon Burks with that interception. Another just head-scratcher. Another head-scratching play. And I know if it had worked, we'd probably be saying something different, but that play did result in an interception. Treylon Smith ran the ball 6 times for 38 yards. He had an 11-yard run. Treylon had a longer run today than Rakeem Boyd. Boyd had 11 carries for 21 yards. Guys, that's under 2 yards a carry. His longest run of the entire night was 5 yards. KJ ran the ball 4 for 16. The quarterback, for those of you who don't know who KJ Jefferson is, you've probably been living under a rock. 4-star quarterback. We know all about him. 5 carries, 13 yards. He had a 7-yard run. That was his longest. Thought he had one longer than that. I thought KJ had a longer one. There it is, 19 yards. My bad. I don't have my glasses on. Where are my glasses? Receiving, Treylon Burks broke his own. This was his best game. 7 catches, 102 yards. Mike Woods, 3 for 40. De'Vion Warren had that 1 catch in the first half for 28 yards. Trey Knox had 1 reception for 3 yards. Again, there's a lot here that we could point to. There's so much work left for this team, but you just played. Okay, thanks for telling me that. That was my 5-year-old telling me about her switching her Nintendo avatar to Princess Peach or something. Okay, there's a lot of work left to be done. Their work's cut out for them. I don't have the answers for you. I did think, especially later on in the game, why not play KJ more? I thought he should have been out there when Arkansas got the ball with I think it was 7 minutes to go. Felipe just wasn't it. He was staring down targets. He stared down Woods on that interception, and he tried to force the ball in. He's trying to make plays. He's trying to make too much happen, and that's a result of zero run game. As much as I want to put so much on Felipe, at the end of the day, it's just Georgia's front 7. At the end of the day, it's how disruptive they are on defense. Georgia is damn good up front. And again, I beat you guys over the head with that, but they are really good up front. I think people kind of forget about that when they complain about just how terrible the offense was, especially in the second half. Again, their defense is great. Offensively, I think they're going to have some issues this year. Some of y'all need to chill. You could tell Odom has made big improvements to the defense. And I agree. Again, I think Arkansas's front 7, this is going to be better. I'm just so concerned about depth. And that's what happened in the second half, a lack of depth, a lack of quality depth, and just overall talent issue, a talent disparity between them and Georgia. I still think Sam Pittman and his staff has shown more improvement than Chad did, which is good. They think they can make this team so much better. Joshua Michael says that's Georgia defense. It really is. That's an NFL D front. No, you're right, Josh. I agree. I think they said I believe all of those guys are NFL prospects. I think all of them are NFL prospects, but I think ESPN said they had at least 7 or 8. It was our first game in 300 games, over 300 days, 300 days. Sorry, it was, but it's Georgia. When did they play last? They had postseason play and everything, but I think using that as an excuse, if that's what you're trying to do, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's a good excuse. Everyone had to deal with quarantining and COVID-19, not having spring camp. Everyone had to deal with the just ridiculous offseason. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Everyone's on the same page with that. I think the difference is the fact that you had this huge turnaround with coaching changes, right? They did, after all, change their offensive coordinator, though. They had a new OC. Gavin Pratt says, I got so intense in the game, but afterwards, I'm like, they did good. They did in the first half. The offense could get zero traction. And I do have some legitimate concerns about what's going on at quarterback. I hope this was a product that was hindered by how good Georgia is. And I think that is majority the case. But you cannot afford these 3 and outs You cannot afford to put your defense that is razor thin in certain spots in the position that our offense continuously put them in. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That is not any defense is going to eventually wear down, and that's what happened. And I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about Felipe Franks' game. I mean, the guy, it's not like he's a freshman coming in here or even a sophomore. Staring down targets like he did. I mean, the guy didn't look like he never really went through his reads. I'm really concerned about that play. And there were times when he had a clean pocket and he still was overthrowing, underthrowing. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of Nick Starkel's game, if I'm being really honest. Again, maybe that's a symptom of who you played, not necessarily all on him. Again, when you take Rakeem Boyd out of the game like they did, like Georgia was able to do, a lot of quarterbacks are going to struggle, especially with an offensive line that's still trying to get reworked up front. They did good in the first half, and defense wore out in the second. I agree completely. If I want some entertainment after the show, go Tigers over there under the bus. Okay, go there then, John. Let's see. Lance says, I feel like they kind of let go of the rope in the second half. They just look exhausted. I mean, it looked, again, it reminded me of last year when, especially in the bottom of the third quarter or going into the fourth quarter, where the defense just looked gassed. And it looked like to us, the fan, like they were done caring. And maybe that was the case. I don't know. I can't read their minds, but I kind of took it as I think they're tired. They just looked like they were spent, man, like they were done. Franks has always played really bad against Georgia. Just think we saw a bad version of him tonight. And that could very well be the case. It could. The guy could line it up against Mississippi State. I don't know. That could end up being a shootout, or that could end up being a stomping. By the way, LSU severely overrated. After what happened tonight, if they're still in the top 15, I'm done. True tie, but hasn't he been out of the game since early 2019? Regardless, staring down a receiver is just, I mean, that's just fundamentals. That's just something that you've got to get worked out. That's a kink you got to get worked out in practice, in scrimmages, right? We're not talking about him having wearing his arm out or looking lost. I mean, in all honesty, in the first half, I thought he had command of the offense. He was moving guys around. I don't think, and that's the other thing. The installation of the offense is further ahead than I think or at least what they told us, right? They said, I think 90% or 75, 90%. I know that gives us a little bit of PTSD when we talk about offensive installation. He had command of the offense. And I don't want a carousel, a carousel at the quarterback position. I don't want a revolving door at the quarterback situation. I don't want them going back and forth between KJ but I think at some point, especially a little bit earlier in the fourth quarter, I would like to have seen KJ, just what kind of option KJ gives us in this Kendall Briles offense. And we got a little taste, but I think we should have seen him out there a little bit sooner. But Felipe, I mean, again, this is not a true freshman. This isn't a guy that has never seen the field before, and he's never played against really good SEC talent. I mean, he's a very experienced cat. I mean, this is a guy, and yeah, he has played, and you're not wrong. Georgia, he has played really bad against Georgia. Let's hope that's just the case, and he gets this thing turned around. Watch porn or the Hogs. At least watching. Okay. Hope they spend more time practicing base offense and quit wasting practice time on these irritating trick plays. The trick plays cost them. It cost them twice tonight. I still that reverse well, let's see. You had the double reverse on the 13 or 12 yard line that resulted in a safety. Then you had the trail on Burks pass play that it resulted in interception. It was I just wasn't. I don't know. It's easy to say that because they didn't work, but obviously they didn't work, so they were bad plays, right? I'll tell you one thing: this team knows where they are going forward. Lots of work to go. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I agree. I think putting KJ in over a long period of time is a rerun of the past 2 2 years with Cole Kelly, Ty Story, then Ben Hicks, and Nick Starkel. I just don't think it's a good idea. Again, I'm not saying you replace him in the second quarter. When the game is already out of hand and you obviously Felipe is going to be your starter the next week, you just want to see a little bit more of KJ. That's the point that I'm making. I'm not saying you replace him with KJ right now. Again, that wasn't an absolutely atrocious game by Felipe Franks. That could have been worse. We saw worse the last 2 years. No, you don't sub him out for the rest of the year for the next game for KJ. The argument that I'm making is I would like to have seen KJ a little bit sooner in the fourth quarter because let's be honest, by the fourth quarter this game was over. Georgia had taken clear control. They stretched the lead out. You got down to about 7 or 8 minutes left in the fourth. This thing was over. It was over before the fourth quarter, in my opinion. You could have swapped out KJ and just get a little bit more of a taste of what KJ is going to offer in this Kendall Browse offense. I would like to have seen that. I'm not saying he should have been replaced by at halftime. Not making that argument at all. Felipe's your guy next week. At least I think he should be. I think he's earned that starting spot next week. Save Felipe when the game is lost. Play KJ and Malik. Yeah, that's exactly right. I agree 100%. Oh, my bad, Ty. Understand. Okay. We're on the same page, Tony. I got it. Ty, what are your thoughts on Kendall Briles' play calling today? Again, if I had to give it a grade, I mean, look, my expectation was 10 points. Just because of how good Georgia is, but then based on just what we saw, I don't know, D-, D+, somewhere in there. Those 2 turnovers on the trick plays, it's just such a bad look. It's hard to say, oh, that was a C+ or B-. It's hard to say that. Even factoring in Georgia, I just thought the play calling was not there. And again, a lot of that is Rakeem Boyd being completely shut down. And here's something else we just showed the rest of the SEC. Stack the box, right? You're going to have someone on Rakeem. Someone's going to be responsible for Boyd. You're going to highlight him. You're going to stack the box. You're going to take him out of the game. If you could slow him down or come close to what Georgia did, you're going to slow down this offense. Now, the rest is up to Arkansas. How their passing game responds to that, and what they showed today is there's not much of a response if you do that. Now, again, it is Georgia. You're not going to see that again. I don't know. I'll say this. I don't think Rakeem Boyd gets shut out like that again the rest of the year. I don't think that happens. And I do think Felipe is probably going to be your guy, and there's no reason to bench him. There's no reason to take him out, right? There's no reason to do that. I did expect better passing game than we did. It was just, some of the passes that were complete were thrown behind the receiver. It was just an off game. So Kyle Sutherland, look, he was critical when a lot of other people weren't. So a lot of props to Kyle. I think I think what he said was warranted. Now I don't think he had an awful, just terrible first half B+, second half D-. There you go. Fun to watch still, though. Well, I mean, was it? I mean, the Burks touchdown was nice, but other than that, we need to pass vertically. And that was something I was telling my neighbor Alex when we were eating our chicken wings. They couldn't stretch the field out. They could not go vertical when they tried, other than the Burks touchdown, and it was I don't know. Rakeem Boyd and Trey Burks had angles several times and couldn't gain one yard after catch. Much better football team, says Smock. I can't argue with that right now. I can't, because I have them at 2-8. I have them at 2-8, and I still think they get to 2-8. I can't argue with that. I'm not saying that you're 100% right or that I agree with you 100%, but I just can't argue with that. I do think they're better than what they were a year ago, simply because of what you did on the ground. Zamir White is no joke. I mean, that guy is an all-conference caliber back. There is no doubt about that. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Laugh out loud. The coaching staff has this team moving in the right direction, and I have them at 2-8 too, says Smock. Yeah, I think they're better. I don't know how much better just yet. It's tough, right? It's tough against Georgia. Are you kidding? Let me try and scroll up here and get to if you guys have any more questions. I personally think that we will get blown out by Mississippi State because of our lack of pass defense. Well, we need to find out what happened to Dorian Gerald. When Dorian Gerald left the game, the pass rush was almost all but non-existent. If Mathis is left in the game. If Mathis is in that game, Arkansas might win. I mean, he was terrible. Exactly what I said in my video that I released on Friday. Get pressure on the guy. He's going to turn the ball over. They were going 3 and out. They were discombobulated on offense, and Arkansas was winning the freaking game. And then the second half, they made changes. Joshua Michael, it was non-existent. What was non-existent? We had 3 sacks in the game, 2 picks. Yeah, I mean that is improvement. You just can't argue with that. How about that hit? Oh, the hit, yeah, the boom that Bumper Pool laid down. What? I can't wait until we get an idea of what happened on defense in terms of actual numbers. ESPN does not release those for whatever reason. They don't give you defensive stats. We can go over the complete picture here. Arkansas had a grand total of 280 yards. Sorry, I meant to do this earlier. Yeah, when you go 3 of 14 on third down, that's not a recipe for success. But you did hold Georgia. Listen, you held Georgia 6 of 20 on third down. But then you held them 2 of 3 on fourth down. But yeah, they had 387 total yards of offense to your 280. That's progress. That's progress against anybody, even if Georgia's offense was lost in the first half. You gave up 266 through the air. Where were the penalties at? So, there was 1 penalty on Georgia in the second half. I think there was 3 against Arkansas in the second half. Penalties, 12 for 108. Georgia had 12 penalties for 108 yards. That's more than the length of the football field. Arkansas had 10 for 53. 3 turnovers to Georgia's 2. All of Arkansas's turnovers were interceptions thrown. So, yeah. Okay, it's 7:30. I want to watch some more football tonight. I'm not really sure if I want to watch more football or if I want to do something else, take my mind off this game. It's still a little depressing. Is it bad that I'm glad Mike Leach and Mississippi State beat LSU? Laugh out loud. Let me ask you guys this. Pay attention. If anyone's just kind of, you've got me on your speaker, but you're not looking at your phone or whatever, pick your phone up. Or if you're at your computer or your whatever, however you're listening and watching this, type a 1 in chat if you think that Arkansas did wrong by passing on Leach. I'm curious where you guys are at on that. Type a 1 if you think Arkansas missed, and I know this is going to be an overwhelming 1. I know it is. I'm not saying that they should have. I'm not saying that I agree. I want to see and a 0 if you think no, that Arkansas got the guy. A 0 if you think Pittman is the guy. Leach was asking for too much money. Truck, 2 doesn't mean anything. 0 if you think you got the guy. Foster says 0. Okay, there's more zeros than I thought. Okay. Either some of you didn't watch Mississippi State today or you're bought in. Okay. 0, 0, 0. That is an overwhelming amount of zeros. Okay. All right. Okay. Pittman is the dude, man, says Smock. But I love Sam Pittman to death. I just hope he is successful. Listen, I hope if the Hogs go 0-10, keep that energy. I'm not saying that happens at all. Again, I still got him at 2-8, which is massive improvement. Just what are we talking about? You're not listening, John Baker. A 1 if you think Arkansas shouldn't have passed on Leach. If you think that the Hogs did wrong, right? Why the hate on Pittman? Good gosh, he took over a dumpster fire. Give him a break. It's just a question. I see a bunch of 0 for We're just having fun. Like I said, 2-8 is massive improvement. I still think they can do that. I did like what I saw from Arkansas's run defense. I think their front 7, their starting front 7, assuming they can get Dorian Gerald back, I think they're in good shape there. I don't know what happened to Coates either. Coates kind of he had a couple of moments. I know he got a little banged up and then kind of disappeared from the game. If they win 1 game, it's still a huge improvement from last year. First SEC win in 2 years. Are you kidding me? In the toughest schedule in college football. Right. No, I mean I agree. I don't disagree with the SEC schedule. 2-8, 3-7 is realistic. If we were playing a regular schedule, I'd have my money on 4 wins easily, says Zach G. If they beat Bama, we can talk Leach. Okay. And another reason why I bring that up is because Twitter is all over this Mike Leach stuff. Twitter is all over Mike Leach. I mean, social media, and again, I know not all of you read Twitter. Not all of you read that there tweeter. Not all of you are on Twitter, but if you read Twitter, God, I can't say that. I'm so tired. You'd think that Arkansas should have thrown $10 million at Leach if you pay attention to social media. Smile. Hey, I came in at the dumpster fire era. Anything is an improvement to me. Laugh out loud. Leach never had a defense. Well, he sure won a game today without a defense, didn't he? Auburn looked a little weird today. Yeah, they did. They did look weird. Just a second on that. I will say their front seven, Auburn's defense, going to be tough. They're going to be tough. Their run defense is going to be tough. I like Nix. I thought Nix threw some darts today, but they've got some questions on offense. They found a way to beat a good Kentucky team. I mean, they really did. That's a ranked opponent. Kentucky deserves to continue to be ranked, if you want my opinion. I still think they finished behind Tennessee in the East. Kentucky's good. Kentucky might be a 6-4 kind of team. And guys, you're talking about 6 conference wins here. 6 wins is really good. I think they're capable of doing that. Probably 6-4, maybe a little bit more realistically. They're between 4 and 5 wins. LSU would have lost Fayetteville today. Sean Davis, that's quite the take. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch much of that game, so I'm not sure. 3 to 4 years before we have a bowl team, says Truck MD. All right, guys. The plan, we've got a lot going on next week. I'm going to try to get you guys some content on Monday and throughout the week. If I'm not live, I'm not live. Again, I'm going to try to do my best to do that for you and bring you some content. I do want to record a video for this Mississippi State game. I got to go back and catch highlights of this Mississippi State game. Try to go back and watch it if I can, just to get us prepared for Mississippi State. Just saying, I called this thing 35-10. That was my prediction. I was pretty damn close. But a little surprised, though. I can't act like I knew it all. The play in the first half was impressive. If they could have played that way in two halves, of course, a lot of that had to do with the quarterback change for Georgia. But had they kept that same tempo, found any kind of rhythm in the second half, it would have been a little bit closer game, no doubt. I think Arkansas has made improvement. I'm not saying Pittman is or isn't the guy, but I think they are headed in the right direction. It's going to take some time. 2-8 is huge, is big improvement, and I think they can still get there. So, Ty, your thoughts on Florida? Again, I didn't get a chance to watch that game, guys. My day was just stock. The only game I got to watch a little bit of the Auburn-Kentucky game and then Arkansas. That was it. So I'm going to have to try my best to get caught up on some SEC football over the weekend, assuming I can. I just can't wait to get our own quarterback instead of everyone else's leftover. That's actually a really good point, Strecker. That's a good point. All right, remember, like the video if you haven't already. Tap the subscribe button. We've jumped up in views and in subscribers. As expected, football's back. Don't forget to check out all the links down below, the PTN, Patreon, if you want to become a member. There's a PayPal link if you don't want to become a member, but you want to throw $1 in the old tip jar. So there's a PayPal available. And, of course, check out all the links, including the Hawk Talk podcast link if you want to get caught up on those episodes. Again, hopefully I'll see you guys on Monday. If not, again, I'm going to try and push as much content to you this week as I can. So just be patient. Woo Pig Sue.